Here's a statistic that will disturb you. In Japan, a country with one of the world's longest life expectancies, 73% of workers report feeling completely disconnected from their purpose at work. Yet, paradoxically, Japan also gave us one of the most powerful concepts for living a fulfilling life: Ikigai. But here's what's even more shocking. When researchers studied millionaires who reported being genuinely happy, they discovered something that challenges everything we think we know about wealth. These individuals didn't just stumble upon money, they stumbled upon what the Japanese call their Ikigai, their reason for being, and then money naturally followed. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who literally had all the wealth of Rome at his disposal, wrote something profound in his Meditations. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. I know because I've been there. I've watched people chase financial goals that felt empty, achieve them, and then wonder why the victory felt hollow. I've also seen people discover their Ikigai and watch their financial life transform in ways they never expected. The real problem isn't that we don't know how to make money. The real problem is that we've separated money from meaning, profit from purpose, wealth from wisdom. We've created this false dichotomy where you either chase money or you chase meaning, but never both. But what if that's the very thing keeping you from both? What if the path to sustainable wealth requires emotional resilience in finances that can only come from knowing your deeper why? If you've ever felt like you're grinding for goals that don't truly inspire you, or if you've wondered whether financial success has to come at the cost of your soul, this framework might change everything. And if you're tired of chasing the next goal only to feel more empty, you're not alone. This is the silent epidemic of our time. The concept of Ikigai emerged from the Japanese island of Okinawa, home to some of the world's longest living people. But here's what most people don't understand about Ikigai. It's not just about finding your passion. It's about finding the intersection of four crucial elements: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. The Japanese have understood for centuries what modern psychology is just beginning to prove. True fulfillment, and by extension sustainable financial success, comes not from maximizing any single element, but from finding harmony between them all. This isn't just philosophy. This is financial resilience at its core. Because when your money is connected to your meaning, when your wealth serves your wisdom, you create what I call anti-fragile growth. You don't just survive financial storms, you actually get stronger from them. Think about it this way. Money alone is a greenhouse. It might produce quick results, but it's fragile. The Ikigai is a forest. It grows slowly, weathers every storm, and becomes stronger with time. Your financial life works the same way. When it's rooted in your Ikigai, it becomes unbreakable. Most people make a catastrophic mistake. They treat money and meaning like opposing forces. They think you either choose to be spiritual and poor or materialistic and rich. This false dichotomy is destroying lives. Here's what happens when you separate money from meaning. You end up in what I call the golden handcuffs. You make good money, but you feel trapped. You achieve financial milestones, but they feel empty. You accumulate wealth, but you don't accumulate fulfillment. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus, who went from slavery to becoming one of the most influential philosophers in history, taught that true freedom comes not from having more, but from wanting what serves your highest purpose. Here's a modern example. I've met lawyers making multiple six figures who felt spiritually bankrupt. They had money, but they'd lost their why. They were successful by society's standards, but felt like failures by their own deeper standards. Or take Sarah, a marketing executive who climbed the corporate ladder for 15 years, doubled her salary every few years, bought the house, the car, the lifestyle. But every Sunday night, she felt this crushing weight in her chest. She had everything she thought she wanted, but nothing she actually needed. She was rich in money, but bankrupt in meaning. On paper, she had it all. In reality, she felt lost. And if I told you that the more you separate money from purpose, the less you achieve of both? When you align your money with your Ikigai, something magical happens. Work stops feeling like work. Wealth becomes a natural byproduct rather than a desperate chase. You develop what I call purposeful prosperity. Here's how the 4 circles of Ikigai transform your financial life. What you love gives you energy. What you're good at gives you confidence. What the world needs gives you relevance. What you can be paid for gives you sustainability. But here's the key insight most people miss. The magic isn't in any single circle. It's in the overlaps. Where what you love meets what you're good at, you find passion. Where what you're good at meets what you can be paid for, you find profession. Where what you can be paid for meets what the world needs, you find vocation. Where what the world needs meets what you love, you find mission. And in the very center, where all 4 overlap, you find your Ikigai, your reason for being, your source of sustainable, meaningful wealth. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire not because he loved power, but because he saw it as his duty. His Ikigai wasn't just personal fulfillment, it was service to something greater than himself. So how do you actually apply this in real life? This is where philosophy meets practice. You need to map your own financial Ikigai, and it starts with radical honesty about each circle. Circle 1, what you love. Not what you think you should love, but what genuinely energizes you. Example, Maria discovered she loved teaching. Not just the idea of it, but the actual moment when someone's eyes light up with understanding. What activities make you lose track of time? What problems do you naturally gravitate towards solving? Circle 2, what you're good at. This includes both your natural talents and your developed skills. Maria was naturally good with children and had developed excellent communication skills. What do people consistently ask for your help with? What comes easier to you than to others? Circle 3, what the world needs. This is bigger than personal preference. Maria saw that traditional education was failing many kids who learned differently. What problems keep you up at night? What injustices bother you? What gaps do you see in the world that you feel called to fill? Circle 4, what you can be paid for. This is where dreams meet reality. Maria realized parents would pay for tutoring that actually worked for their struggling children. What value can you create that people will exchange money for? What outcomes can you produce that organizations will invest in? Here's the profound truth. Most people live in just 1 or 2 circles. They chase money without meaning, or meaning without money. Both paths lead to frustration. And here's the most powerful application of this wisdom. When you operate from your Ikigai, you don't just make money. You make money that makes sense. You create wealth that serves your deepest values. You build financial resilience that can weather any storm. Here's a real example. Joao was a successful accountant making good money, but he felt empty. Then he discovered his Ikigai. He loved problem solving. He was excellent with numbers. He saw that nonprofits desperately needed financial guidance, and he realized organizations would pay for specialized nonprofit consulting. Joao now runs a thriving consultancy, makes more money than he ever did as a traditional accountant, and wakes up excited about his work every day. This creates what economists call intrinsic motivation. You're not motivated by external rewards alone. You're motivated by the work itself. This makes you more creative, more persistent, more innovative, and that translates directly into financial success. But there's something even deeper happening. When your money is connected to your meaning, you make better financial decisions. You're not just thinking about short-term gains. You're thinking about long-term impact. You're not just asking, how much can I make? You're asking, how much value can I create? This is financial mindfulness in action. Every dollar you earn is connected to your purpose. Every dollar you spend is aligned with your values. Every dollar you save is an investment in your mission. But the paradoxes of Ikigai go even deeper. Here's where it gets really interesting. Living your financial Ikigai means navigating some beautiful paradoxes. Paradox 1. The more you focus on serving others, the more you serve yourself. When your work is genuinely helpful to others, they naturally want to support you financially. Paradox 2. The more you focus on meaning, the more money tends to follow, not because you're chasing it, but because meaningful work creates real value, and real value attracts real compensation. Paradox 3. The less you need external validation, the more it appears. And the less you need external validation, the more confident and effective you become. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher who was also one of the wealthiest men in Rome, understood this perfectly. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." When you're operating from your Ikigai, you have enough. Not because you've stopped growing or striving, but because your striving comes from love rather than lack. You're pulled toward your goals rather than pushed by your fears. This creates what I call abundant scarcity. You have clear priorities, so you can say no to opportunities that don't align. You have deep purpose, so you can be patient with your process. You have inner wealth, so external wealth becomes a natural extension rather than a desperate compensation. So here's the question that will change everything. What if the reason you haven't achieved the financial success you want isn't because you don't know the right strategies, but because you haven't connected those strategies to your deepest purpose? What if the emptiness you sometimes feel, even when you hit your goals, isn't because success is meaningless, but because you're succeeding at the wrong things? What if the financial stress you experience isn't just about having too little money, but about having money that's disconnected from meaning? I want you to think about this. When you imagine your ideal financial life, what role does money play? Is it the star of the show, or is it the supporting character that helps you live out your real purpose? Here's what I've learned. Money is an amplifier. If you're unclear about your purpose, money will amplify that confusion. If you're clear about your purpose, money will amplify that clarity. Your financial Ikigai isn't just about making money. It's about making money that makes sense. It's about creating wealth that serves wisdom. It's about building a financial life that's not just sustainable, but meaningful. This is the difference between a life spent chasing and a life spent creating. Imagine this. Your life financial as a complete circle, not divided between desire and duty, not torn between passion and practicality, but unified by your deepest reason for being. That's the power of finding your financial Ikigai. I want to hear from you. What moves you beyond money? What problems do you feel called to solve? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail and money wasn't an issue? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your journey to finding your financial Ikigai might inspire someone else to start their own journey. And if this perspective shifted something inside you, share this video. Maybe it's exactly what someone in your network needs to hear right now. Maybe it's their financial Ikigai beginning to awaken. Send this video to someone who needs to reconcile money and purpose. Sometimes the most valuable gift you can give someone is a new way of seeing their relationship with wealth. Subscribe to keep feeding your millionaire brain with wisdom that transforms not just your bank account, but your entire relationship with wealth and purpose. Remember, financial freedom isn't about how much you have. It's about how much meaning your money carries.